Okay. So YouTube, this is Adrienne and Sheba live. We haven't advertised this to anyone, so it could be just two of us talking. But if anyone in our line dance family happens to come upon us, feel free to leave a note in chat. So Sheba, can you see the same thing I am that tells us how many people is
Yes,
on
it's
chat?
the timer and how many folks are there
Yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
thumbs up and all that.
So we got zero folks, so we can just catch up. So we were just talking about um, where you're going to pop up in 2025. What
So
events are on your plate?
I actually am making arrangements to go to the Palm Springs winter break. That is a
Oh,
recent development. So I wasn't planning to attend because it's so far away and you can only go to so many events, right? So, I mean, there are lots of events that I'm interested in on the
what?
West Coast, but my priority event on the West Coast is the Hoedown. And so it's
Yes.
like if I'm going to the Hoedown, I have to just be thoughtful about what else I go to over there because, you know, flights are expensive all the time.
So
So
let's talk about
um,
January. Anything in January?
that is in January, winter break.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Dr. King weekend. So it's
yes.
the 16th to the 19th
Okay, let me just
in
pull up
January.
here to see
So that's the
if,
event that Bracken took over from Michael and Michelle.
yeah,
And
let's
then
see
I think she
who's,
has Joe, Jill, and um, Joanne coming this year. I think they also came last year. So it's like the same team again
yep.
next year. So
And
I think it'll be a great time. I've been to that event once and I had a
yes,
marvelous time. When I went, Britt was there, Niels was there, Roy V was there, and it
yes,
was just great fun. I miss my West Coast peeps, and a
yes,
handful of my California peeps are going,
yep.
and so just looking forward to seeing them. And I was chatting with some of them. I have a chat thread with some of them, and I was like, I just don't know if I can make it, y'all. These tickets are so high, and they were like, why don't you just fly to a different city instead of flying into Palm Springs? Because any of us can
Oh, okay,
let you
yeah.
get in our car and ride with us.
Because
So I'm
how
like,
far
oh,
is that
this is
from like,
why having
yes,
friends is so important.
yes, yes, yes. Um, because I have no idea of geography. How far is like San Francisco or LA from Palm Springs? It's not close, right?
LA is only 2 hours. So
Oh, okay, yep.
San Francisco is basically NorCal. And
Mm-hmm.
then LA is SoCal. So they're far apart because you're thinking like like San Francisco is maybe like kind of the middle of the state. I mean, I'm not great at geography either, but I think of it like middle of the state, even though I call it NorCal.
Yep.
Uh, and, um, you know, San Francisco would be a far, far trek by car. But because when I went the first time, I drove and I think I split it up and I think it was maybe like 12 or 13 hours. So I drove like a portion for one part and then stayed overnight somewhere and then got up the next day and finished the drive.
From
Um,
where?
from Santa Rosa when I lived in Santa Rosa
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
out to Palm
Wow.
Springs.
Yes,
I might
yes,
be I might be misstating that. I mean, it could have been as little as 10, but
yes.
traffic, time of day, blah blah blah. So let's
So
just
Palm
say somewhere between
Springs.
10 and 13 hours.
Yes. You know
So
what, Sheba, also before we go further is because I'm using my phone that has my Facebook on it. Um, do you want to just put on your Facebook or the World Line Dance newsletter that we're live? Or we just keep dropping off here in the background as our test one? What do you think?
oh, I think it's fine. It's a test.
Yeah,
Let's just
test.
do a test.
Okay,
And
that's
then
awesome.
you can work on advertising later. People can always go back and watch this one if they're interested.
Yes,
It
yes.
can be an opportunity to
To
clean
test
pieces
it.
up, whatever. Yeah.
That's right. So for those of you that don't know, in our line dance community, I asked Sheba because she's got a kabillion thoughts, and she recently put out a post about wanting to do just more on everything. And so I said, Well, I've been asking Sheba forever to come on the YouTube with me, and it's just because I don't know about you, Sheba. I'm just like I find that when we're at events, we're like you rush um, to like you get to the event. If you're lucky, you've set up supper plans or meal plans with people, but not even that. And then once the event starts, you're tired, so then you want to sleep. And I know you especially go hard, so you get tired. But then you'll
Mhm.
be like, we'll be talking for 1 minute. So unless you're my roommate, you're only talking for 1 or 2 minutes. You go to the floor because you've practiced to dance. Don't you think you
Mhm.
just catch up with people in like spurts?
Yeah, on the fly, totally. And I mean, I
Yeah.
think the community is so vast that within the community, everybody kind of travels in their respective groups, like, oh, we from the PNW, or we came from this state, or we came from this country. And everybody kind of stays with, the folks they traveled
Yeah.
with or the folks that they're familiar with. Um, So I think a lot of time is spent just with your regular people, the folks that you go to class with, or the folks that you always go to the same events with, or whatever. And
Yeah.
then it has that reunion aspect from the perspective of like, oh, I haven't seen you in 6 months. Oh, I haven't seen you in 3 years. Oh, I haven't seen you in a decade. Oh, I saw you last week, but we didn't really get to check in. And so you have these exchanges in passing in the hallway as you're going from one room to another, or as you're leaving the ballroom to go up to your room for a break, or if you're trying to grab food. And then you might make sporadic plans with people as they're talking. And so you decide to go to meals. But I don't feel like it lends itself to us really spending any kind of intimate time together because our focus is dance. We are there to dance first. And so some folks don't even come early, like some people come strictly for the event. I mean, a lot of times I come strictly for the event. There are so many cities that we've danced in
Hmm.
where I haven't experienced the city at all. Cause I
Yes.
eat my meals in the hotel, like I'll eat
Yes.
in the hotel restaurant, or I'll have food in my room. And so I just like land on like the Wednesday or Thursday night before the event starts, and then get up and hit it with the event from the first day and stay till the last day, and then leave to come home the next day. So a lot of times there's just not the opportunity for visitation and interaction just because the focus is the event.
But I think it's been great also to just I think when you first get started out, like you say, you got your home group. So I've always thought that was weird. When you start out, you're just like you're dancing with your group, but in a different city, right?
Yeah.
But then over time you meet people, and like you say, it's like going to camp where like you're like you said to me, "What? We're not going to see each other for the rest of the year." So really, and then
So wild.
here's what's even wilder. I've got people in my hometown, Carmen,
Hmm.
Trish. Well, they
Hmm.
live about an hour and a half drive. Okay,
Hmm.
so we could see each other. Do we see each other? No, we have to go to
No.
Florida to see each other. That's what's hilarious is to be
Oh
in the
yeah.
same city and not get to
Yeah.
see each other. Yeah, just because
Yeah.
you just take it for granted. But you're one of those people, and I don't even know what year it is. But in case people don't know, well, they probably wouldn't know how we met. Do you think it's 2012 or even
It must have
earlier?
been, it must have been 12, 13. Well, I started dancing in 11.
Okay.
So I
This was
don't think
Vegas.
it would have been way later than that, because
Mm,
I don't think I went to Vegas for the first time until like 15. And I don't
okay.
actually even remember if we meet in Vegas or did we meet at the Hoedown?
No, 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 no. I know this story.
Okay.
We met in Vegas because my roommate was Ramona, who was an ex Vegas showgirl.
Oh yeah.
And
Who's not
then
dancing anymore. Or
not
I
for
haven't
now.
seen her.
So Ramona, if you see this, start dancing again. So Ramona, I would often room with, and then we saw you out on the floor, and we're like, "Who is that?" Because you were just cutting it up like you normally do. And I think at that time, I'm trying to think who your home base was. Was it with Brenda
in
Chateau?
2015? No, I would have been in well, yeah, actually it would have been that segment of time in 2015 when I first started really traveling, because we had moved from North Carolina to California for Josh to go to school.
Hmm.
And somebody in North Carolina was telling me about this woman named Joan Price, who had a class at Coach's Corner. And what I didn't know is that Joan and Brenda taught together at this
Mm-hmm.
class where Joan teaches beginner improver and Brenda teaches intermediate. And so, I had all these email exchanges with Joan, like, oh, I've been dancing for this amount of time and I like to do these dances and this is my list. And Joan was like, come to class, check it out, let's see. Cause she don't know me, right? She just like, you can say whatever you want to, but let me just get my own assessment when
Yes.
you come in
Yes.
this class. So, I came to class and she's like, oh yeah, you've been dancing for a while, you know a lot, blah, blah, blah. We so glad to have you. Here's our information about our intermediate class, yada, yada, yada. And so they were doing like monthly workshops in I think it was in Novato at the time. And then Brenda was doing like a weekend class where she taught a new dance every week, at least one. Sometimes we
Yes.
might learn like 2 or 3. We were dancing for like at least 3 solid hours, like every Saturday. So
Intermediate.
intermediate. So that was probably where a lot of my foundation grew exponentially in terms of knowledge of dance. Like I think even right now, some of the stuff that we still do at events, like when you get to late night and you're doing like your feel or what the France or you know, what's the one where you kneel down on the ground that Fred choreographed? Witness. You doing witness, like when you're doing all
Oh,
of that
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah,
stuff
yeah,
late
yeah,
at
yeah,
night.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah,
those are dances that I learned when I lived there, like in that
yeah,
window of time
yeah.
into when we went to Seattle. Cause when we moved to Seattle, because we were only in California for like 6 months at that time, because that was the length of his school. And then we got to move to Seattle because of how well he did in his class. And so when we got to Seattle, Hagen still lived there at the time. So
Okay,
then
so
Hagen
this
would
is
be like,
where
homework, do these dances, learn this stuff, like, crack the whip.
so this is where the timing must have been. If it would have been the year that you were going to go to Seattle, or I don't know if that was your second year in Vegas, because I said to you, you said that Josh was good. So this might have been year 1 or 2 of Vegas. Is
Mhm.
you said it might have been your first year, and then you said, I'm going to Vegas, and I said, I know who you need to connect with. So I gave you the
You got me
information.
Hagen.
Yes, I gave you Hagen. I gave you Emerald City. I gave you your whole alphabet soup community, and then
See,
you connected with
see,
them.
you made
Mhm.
my whole life, Adrienne. It's so funny the things that like we
Just
remember or we don't remember as we age and as time goes on and things start to fade out of view. So
mhm.
thanks for reminding me of that. But yeah, that would have been the first year that I went to Vegas then in 2015. Because then in
Okay, okay.
2016 I would have gone up there to look for all of them and figure all the stuff out. And I bet we have, like, if I went and looked in our chat history, I bet there's so much stuff there about like arranging and planning and email this person and talk to that person, like in
Oh,
Facebook
yeah,
Messenger.
yeah, yeah, maybe, yeah. But so
I'll have to
that's
scroll
that.
back and look at that.
But you weren't there when, I wonder if you left Seattle when Trevor Thornton came, and that was something that Hagen and Q had organized.
I
Were
wasn't
you
there
away?
yet.
Oh, you weren't
I
there
don't think I
yet.
was there yet. Mm-mm.
Okay. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. But you're right.
Because
That
I don't think I met Trevor until I went to like Florida for the first time. Like,
Gotcha.
like
Yes.
SNL, Florida.
So then how did you get hooked into like there was Emerald City the event, but then there's like how far off to then did you start like getting really connected with their regular
I
classes, the
went.
cut?
So like once I got up there,
Yeah.
I was dancing with Rain Country on the Tuesday nights that they had line dance and the Friday nights when they had line and partner. And then
Ah,
eventually I got into the teaching rotation. And so
yep.
like once every like 6 weeks or so, or sometimes more often, just kind of contingent upon the schedule and who was around and all of that stuff, I would teach on those Tuesday nights. And then eventually I started teaching at the Hoedown.
Oh, see, I didn't know they did that. So they have like it's not the same teacher every week?
It's a rotation. Because most of the teachers who teach partner stuff also teach line stuff. So Jim teaches, Barb teaches, Ayin teaches. When Hagen was there, he taught. So there's, like they do like a whole, as they're planning the calendar and all of this stuff with leadership, they are talking about like, what do we want to do when, and what do we want to emphasize? And they plan all of that stuff out. What do we want to, keep from the hoedown and put in rotation? What new stuff do we want to introduce? What classic stuff do we want to revisit? What old stuff do we want to bring back? Who's going to teach what? Who's going to be around? It all gets planned out.
See, because after COVID, our group didn't get back to like a regular pattern of weekly. So Vancouver Line Dance hasn't resumed, but I always was worried about, see, the way Susan and Bridget taught is like Susan had a class on the weekday, and then on the weekend, Bridget had a class, and some of the people overlapped, but they were each responsible for their classes unless someone went away. So I thought, oh, if I have a class, that's a lot of like dances I have to like figure out.
You have to know.
Yeah. Yeah. Which
it's
is
very labor intensive. And I didn't even do it that much, but I'm still just like, people ask me to this day, all the time when I'm at events talking to people that I don't know or haven't seen me before, or maybe don't remember me, haven't seen me in a while, whatever. I always get asked, do you teach? Do you teach? Where's your class? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't do that. I am here for the fun first. You know how much work it takes to teach? Yeah. Find a dance that everybody is going to generally agree on, because you can't get everybody to agree, first of all. So it's already like, what dance can you select that most of the people are going to like and want to learn and maybe be motivated to go over when they're not in class? So that's already a hurdle right there, because you have to consider what level you're teaching and how quickly they learn and how they catch on and what music they like. So it's all of those dynamics before you even know what dance you're going to teach.
Right.
And then you get past that and you do the actual teaching. So you have to be able to call it and cue it and count it and remember the steps and remember what goes where and figure out how to connect all of that to the folks you are teaching. And then you have to keep all of those in your log as you build on them. So it's not just teaching them the stuff that they'll see at events, because they might not only want to do stuff that they see at events. They might want to do something that was written 14 years ago by somebody who doesn't travel. And so it's just all of those dynamics and managing personalities and attitudes and expectations. And just like, I can't deal with all that. I have a full-time job. I'm married. I have a dog. No.
And it's so true about the like choosing a dance. And as a dancer, I don't think I necessarily know how to count it and phrase it and cue it. I on a lot, especially intermediate and advanced, and then I might fake it a little bit. But when you're
100%,
teaching, people like, because I've watched when you've taught at Emerald City, I can't remember, are you more comfortable with counting?
No, I like the words.
Okay.
And that's the other thing. It's like so many people in our community want you to count. And my thing is like, I'm musical. I don't take it for granted that I can hear rhythm, patterns. I connect with lyrics. I can feel what's going on. So like, you don't need to count. Like I remember recently, I think it was at Marathon, and Joey was teaching a dance. It's called Two Left Feet. I think he choreographed it like during the pandemic or something. And he was going over something and he was like, okay, I don't remember where we are. What count is that on? And I was like, bum, bum. And it didn't even occur to me that I didn't say numbers. Like he was asking what count it was on, and I just made the sound of the beat in the music, because that's where the movement that he was talking about came. But I'm like, I didn't, like, everybody just cracked up and was laughing. And like, I didn't even realize until after they were laughing at all of this stuff that I didn't say numbers. I just made a sound, because I'm just like, you just do the steps to where the sound is or where the lyric is, or like, and that's what I appreciate about when choreographers really connect to those things in the music. Like when they play with the music and what they have us doing with our footwork is because of what is said in the song. and you really paying attention to these lyrics, or you paying attention to the way that they play the piano or what the guitar hits. And so you want to make sure we hit that. Like, I love that so much. And so for me, all of that is just like, it doesn't matter what the count is. I'll know where my feet are supposed to go. I need to know if I'm doing a shuffle step or a kickball change or a spiral. Like, that's the information I need. Like, I'll get the count together. You could like never count it and just tell me what to do. And if I get off count, I can be like, oh, it's because the pattern is da 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 da, not da 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 da, or whatever.
Yep. And that's
But
why,
obviously counting matters. It's just sometimes it's difficult for me to count things.
well, and that's what's funny is, and I'm not slagging on your teachers. I've often thought, how hard is that to be like, you're deep in thought, and sometimes you've taught us like, I don't know, it could be like, okay, this is a phrase to A, B, and C, and you're trying to motor through in 50 minutes. And then you'll be like words, and you'll be like doing your thing. You're like all energetic. And then someone will interrupt you and go, can you give us the counts? And then you've gone back, and then like you're into it, you'll do words. And then it's like, I don't know, like that's so much to have to be
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
now I got to force my brain to do counts. I normally don't connect with that. Or sometimes when you watch Roy How Does Zabroto Teach, and it's all like that beatboxing, I
I
connect to
love
that.
it. I love it.
Right?
He one of my favorite teachers because I'm just like, even stuff that I don't remember how to dance because we haven't danced it in like 8 years. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can still pull down right now the thing that he did in the teach and the beat that he made and the thing
Yeah.
that he said. And I remember this goes right here. When I hear this part of the dance, I don't remember nothing else. But when I hear this part of the song, I know exactly what my body is supposed to be doing for something I haven't danced in 8 years. Like because he connects to the music. So I just, so good. So good.
Storyteller. But you know,
Yeah.
it's funny because I think a lot of people think, okay, well, maybe I don't need to go to events. But then, you know, there's something you don't get off the YouTube when you go to an
Oh,
event
yeah.
when a choreographer teaches you. So, Run Me Like a River, Roy Verdonk said, reach for the apple. So I always know
Mhm.
that part in the dance to like reach for the apple. And sometimes there'll be movement, which is like, I can't remember which dance is like the shopping cart or like Barbie move, that kind of thing. You go, okay, that
Mhm.
I'm going to do that part. But yeah, that is so true. And the other question that gets me, and maybe I'd be a better dancer if I paid attention to, you'll be like studying really hard, like you're all concentrating, and then someone goes, what weight do I put my foot on? For
Oh, yeah.
me, I kind of feel like you kind of naturally like your feet are either right or left, and then you kind of will figure out the weight. So I don't know. Do you worry about that weight like right, left? Like I kind of figure once you're at that intermediate advanced, while you're learning it, your feet will just naturally weight
Right.
one way or the other, don't you think?
Yeah.
I
That, and I think, like, even if we can't see where the choreographer
Yeah.
is or what's going on, like as you're tracking, ideally you will be consistent with your movement. So you should end up where you're supposed to be. Like if your dance is starting on the left foot and you're doing 3 movements, you should still be on the left foot because it's 3 movements, unless it's
Yes.
like, some crazy syncopation.
Yeah.
But generally, like if you doing whole counts, 1, 2, 3, it's an odd number. You're gonna be
Yeah.
back where you started. Like, so I don't know. Or a odd beat, 3 beats, if you're not counting.
Yeah. And I think the other thing that's happened over time is I think that as I've started with partner dancing, and I don't know if you found that, like certain partner dances, once you get past the basic fundamentals, like West Coast swing, especially, then the woman always doesn't start right footed. You sometimes start left footed. So I find with line dancing, when we're learning those harder dances, and I haven't pre studied when I've gone to class, it's even if you end up on the wrong foot, you then just like coaster or do something to get on the right foot. And then you're like,
Mhm.
I'll just review that with myself later. Do you
Mhm.
find that? It's just
Yeah, but I mean, also, I try to just recognize different things that I don't want to take for granted or just be like, oh, you just get it. Cause like for everything that I could say about having a natural grasp of rhythm and being comfortable with music and all of that stuff, like I also know that I have danced in the past. And so I've had some sort of familiarity with some of these things, even though I'm not formally trained. Like I danced when I was in grade school on a dance team, and I did some stuff when I was in college. Nothing to the level of like somebody who was like, oh, I did ballet and tap and jazz and, all of the, or I did, like I had an Arthur Murray dance school education or whatever. Like it's nothing like that. But those things still help me get comfortable. And I recognize that, some folks are coming to the community who have never danced before in their lives, don't listen to music for sounds, just listen to music for pleasure, or for storytelling. And so, I think that stuff does make a difference, like how you experience music and how you experience movement. And if you're not comfortable with those things, even at the intermediate level, I think you're going to struggle in a way that people who are comfortable with those things do not. So I try not to take it for granted that I'm able to do some of those things. And, I don't think it's just born out of like, oh, it's something that is intuitive, because not everybody has an intuitive experience with it. So it's not intuitive for everybody.
I was surprised. I don't know if you were there the year that Jono taught at, I don't know if
Hold
it's
on a
Emerald.
second.
Okay.
Jenny, what are you doing? I know we're still live, but I got to figure out what's going on over here.
Bring
Jenny, what are you doing? You say bring her over.
Yes.
Oh. What are you doing? Adrienne wants to know what you're doing.
She probably can't hear me if I say, because you've got your headphones on.
No, I don't have headphones on.
I wonder if she can hear me. Ginny. No, won't look over.
I think she want to go outside. I might have to end our live for now, because I think she get off the phone and take me outside.
Well, do you want to like hop off and hop on, or we could do it another time, because this was a good test.
This was a good test. Let's pick up another time, and then maybe like if you want to do like if you want to do some advertising or prep or stuff like that, you can do that. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. I mean, like, I don't care. I'll talk with you. We can revisit it. I might show this to Josh or something.
No. We'll keep this on, but we never even got to get to, and there's tons of time, is what's shaping up for 2025 for you. And I also want to hear about events that you went to in 2024 and how you enjoyed them, because you had said,
well, I could do a separate interview for like every event.
Awesome.
Because I mean, there's just, each event has so much of its own thrill. So I'll give you a quick runoff before I get off the line after you say what you were going to say.
Well, no, what I was going to say is, you were saying, okay, if I want to see you, you're going to be at a lot of East Coast events, and I like smaller events. And so I think this might be the year that, unless Rosie's already sold out, to go to New York State of Line.
Great selection. And she has great slate of folks coming in. I'm pretty sure it's Fred and Shane and Roy and Fiona.
If Roy and Fiona are traveling at that time, right? Wasn't that the thing?
No, I mean, I'm pretty sure they will be. I mean, they're doing like February, but they also are already committed. Let me see. Let me look in my email real quick.
And are you doing, what was the one I was thinking of? You're not doing Sweethearts, is that right?
No, I'm not. I haven't been to Sweethearts in a really long time.
Yeah. And then Emerald City.
It did conflict with SNL, but now that SNL is going to be in April, it's not a conflict. I think it's just going to be because Josh is going to just be getting home. So
Sunshine, are you doing Sunshine Online this year?
Yeah, I am.
Oh man!
So right now,
for me.
Let me look at my calendar.
Okay, because Sunshine Online is at the busiest. So I've got a window of time when I should technically not be traveling, and that is from March 15th to like August. and Rachel had to move
Oh,
her event. So, and I love Sunshine in
I
Mommy.
know,
It's
I
so
know. I see you. Look at how she's
ah,
looking at me. She like, let's go outside right now, right
okay,
now,
okay,
right
okay,
now.
okay, 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 okay. Yeah, we'll catch up. We'll catch up another time. So that's a preview for
Yeah.
when we get together live next. So yeah, happy holidays, and then we'll figure out when we go
Thank
live
you.
next.
Good to see
Thanks.
you.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye.
Sounds good. Bye.
Okay.